Are you selling your house for sale by owner and you don't want to use a real estate agent? Well, this is going to be the video from step A to step Z of everything that you need to know and implement in order for that to happen.
Any questions?
Let's do it.
Hey, my name is Luke. I'm a real estate agent here in the Middle Georgia area, but here's the deal. I'm not gonna try to sell you on anything. I can put in the description things that I do in order to sell properties, but I'm coming with the perspective in this video that nobody's gonna change your mind and you are dead set on selling your house for sale by owner. Now, I have a YouTube video my wife and I made a long time ago on how to sell your house for sale by owner. However, it's 36 minutes long. And I understand being on the internet, you got a lot of stuff to do, okay? So I'm gonna make this one short, I'm gonna make it sweet, I'm gonna show you how to sell for top dollar without using a real estate agent, and I'm not gonna sell you on anything.
I'm not selling.
You're not? Well, we got dressed up, huh?
The first step is getting all the right documentation together before listing the property. Do not list it for sale and do not put photos on Zillow. I'm just gonna use Zillow because me personally, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I think it's the best, okay? Now real quick, those online platforms, before you get disappointed, they do not make money off of you selling your house. They make money off of putting your house in front of other people. Somebody calls in and they charge a referral fee, okay? So don't get mad if it's not a streamlined, smooth process, because they make money off of people calling their call center and then a real estate agent bringing you a buyer. So if you're truly trying to sell for sale by owner to somebody that does not have an agent, it's gonna be really, really hard. Okay, but we can do this together. I'm gonna give you everything that you need to know. But number one, we start with the paperwork. First document, seller's property disclosure. Look it up on the internet, partner with a local attorney, right? That attorney should be able to give you all the documentation that you need, and make sure, please, please, that it's written by an attorney. Do not go on the internet and pay 99 cents for a random form. Only trust documentation that is written by an attorney that you know. I don't care if somebody over the phone says they're about to give you $50,000 over asking price and they send you their own paperwork and it wasn't written by an attorney. Do not do it. Get it written by an attorney. Document number two, if you live in the state of Georgia, a lead-based paint disclosure is a mandatory form in the real estate industry if your house was built before 1978. If it was built after 1978, don't worry about it. But if it was before, you gotta have it. Number three on the document side, the estate settlement. If it went through probate. If it went through probate and you don't have that document ready for the attorney, you could have some huge issues. Or if you did have a home that you inherited and you don't have that document, probate can take as long as 18 months. I've seen it shorter, I've seen it longer, but sometimes it can be a horrible, miserable process. So make sure that you have that estate settlement ready and at hand so you can prove that you are the legal owner of the property. Not only legal owner, but you have the right to sell the property. Which leads into number four, the preliminary title report. You need to make sure that you have that because that report right there shows that you are the true owner of the house. Which gives you the right to sell it because at the end of the day, if you go through the whole process and you don't have the right to sell the house, the attorney will find out and they will not sign documents over, and there's no way of getting around this. Number five on the documents, the HOA report, okay? The Homeowners Association disclosure, and it's a 2-page report, again, ask the attorney, and it's gonna show exactly what the HOA covers, when dues are due, and how much the dues are. It has to be attached to the purchase and sale. The buyer has to agree because they're gonna be the one that takes it over. And of course, you're gonna run into buyers, especially if you want to turn your house into an investment. Well, you wouldn't be the one turning an investment, the buyer would be. They need that report because if for some reason you didn't mow your lawn for 9 months and you stacked fee after fee after fee, the buyer's gonna need to know that, and there's no getting around it. They're gonna find out because they could be taking on a $500,000, $1,500 extra charge that they weren't aware of. And investors will especially find this out. Number six, the purchase and sale agreement. And I say this for a couple of reasons. Number one, there will be a purchase and sale agreement if you agree to pay a buyer's agent a commission. But if you don't, you need to have one readily on hand because here's the deal. you might get lucky. I'm just gonna throw this out here. This isn't my advice. This is just me playing the world for how it is. A first-time home buyer needs the guidance of a real estate agent. They're about to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you catch somebody that isn't using an agent and they fall in love with your house and they're like, how do we buy it? Okay. You need to have a purchase and sale agreement on hand and make sure that you close them, right? You get them to sign the purchase and sale agreement then and there so you have a legal contract underneath them. However, their first-time home buyer not using the agent, they most likely don't have this next document, which is the pre-approval. Do not let somebody come over to your house and look at it if they do not send you a pre-approval letter, because if they are paying anything other than cash, you need to understand that they have to have a pre-approval letter in hand, or they might just be a tire kicker. You're bringing a random stranger into your house.
Who are you people?
Risking your health or safety with a random stranger coming into your own home. I'm gonna throw these 3 bonus ones in here just to make you have an easier time. Number 1, the counter offer document. What's gonna happen when somebody makes a purchase and sale agreement, right? Sends it over to you with all the documents I stated below, or above, I guess previously. And some of those have to be attached, right? Lead-based paint disclosure, seller's property disclosure, HOA, all that fun stuff. Attorney, they'll help you out if they're willing. Typically it's a real estate agent, so really it's your responsibility to make sure all these documents are correct. But, however, counteroffer document. If you have that thing ready to go and you can make a counteroffer, makes life very, very easy. Instead of having to rewrite the entire purchase and sale agreement, what will happen is the counteroffer items, let's say somebody offers you $300,000 on your property, but they want you to help with $10,000 in closing costs, which means that you would net $290,000, except for, right, you have attorney fees, you have all that kind of stuff, but for simple math. And you say, yeah, I'll sell it to you for $300,000, but I'm only gonna help with $5,000. Having that counteroffer document in hand is gonna make your life way easier. The next one is an amendment form. You really only need one, and it's gonna be the amendment to the agreement. So if something on the purchase and sale agreement needs change, because during the inspection period, which I'm gonna go over here in a little bit, comes back and they see a bunch of stuff wrong. Maybe you didn't see it with your eyes. There's a crack in the roof, and if water goes down, it's gonna get back behind the metal fascia and it's gonna rot out the roof, and the inspector's like, this is the worst house in the world. Inspector's gonna scare the buyers. Buyers are gonna be nervous, they're gonna ask you for a bunch of stuff. And if you agree, you can amend the contract and say, okay, well, I'm not willing to fix these things, but I'll come off $5,000 so you can fix them yourself. Easy to have the document, ask the attorney for it. And the last one, you don't have to have it. I personally, if I were you, would want to have it, is the final walkthrough form. On the day of closing or the day before closing, you're gonna walk with them through the entire house to make sure that they are buying what they agreed. Say you had the garage packed full and you tried to hit a bunch of like cosmetic issues, right? That's on you, but say everything is good, okay, for sake of time, everything's good. You're gonna watch them sign that agreement stating, yes, everything is good, we are ready for closing. Take it to the attorney's office, and you close on the house. The next step after the documentation is preparing the home for sale. Again, do not list the house yet. We're gonna prepare it for sale. There's gonna be 4 key things. Number 1, you wanna declutter. So when you declutter, you're gonna go room by room, and you're gonna assemble the home army or friends or family to come over. In every room, you're gonna have 4 piles, right? You're gonna have your largest pile, the trash pile. You're gonna have your donate, you're gonna have your keep, and you're gonna have your sell. Just put them in 4 different corners in the room, go room by room, and then go through the house, and it'll be super easy. Number 2, you might want professional staging. Now, there's this really cool thing called virtual staging, so people on your photography, which I'm gonna get to here in a second, can see that there's items in the home. Because when a home is completely bare empty, it's really hard for somebody to be able to visualize them living there with their items in it. If you wanna do that, it's a good idea. If you live in Middle Georgia and you want my opinion, send me a couple pictures, right? 478-888-7808 of your house on the interior, and I can give you some opinions. Now, you don't have to take that advice. You can decide what you want to do, but it's completely up to you. The next thing you want to do is curb appeal. I can't tell you, before I bought this beautiful house that I'm in now, how many houses I would drive by with my wife, and we would slow roll the front of the house and realize that weeds were everywhere, the shrubs have never been cut, the exterior of the house looks bad. Overall, just does not look good on the outside. We would just keep on driving and we wouldn't even go inside. So curb appeal is huge. If you want to hire landscapers or do it yourself, a nice uplift outside, right? Keeping the lawn mowed, making sure that the flower beds look good, and overall clean appearance is really going to help you out. And lastly, professional photography. Do not dare, please, don't you do it. Don't you dare put an iPhone photo or Samsung or any cell phone photography on the internet trying to help you out. 92% of people say that they found their house online only through the use of the internet. But here is the secret sauce. They're not scrolling to see how much they like your house. They're scrolling to see what's wrong with it, to convince themselves that they shouldn't go out and look at it. Because buyers get real nervous, especially here in 2023. We're halfway through the year when I'm recording this. And they're scared of interest rates. They're scared of all these things. Don't give them a reason to not come look at your house. I can't tell you how many for sale by owners I see a Google Street View photo on the front of your house, and then it says that it's worth $20,000 more than its estimate. I don't care what kind of description you put. People are lazy, I'm just throwing that out there, and they're not gonna read your description. They're only gonna read your description if they fall in love with the photos, they think it's worth the price, and then they're finding the very fine details of what this house is before they come look at it in person. If you want a recommendation on professional photography, shoot me a text, leave a comment below in the Middle Georgia area. If you're outside of there, Google, obviously, look up from some 5-star reviews or top performing real estate photographer in the area. They'll take your money. They take my money every single week when I list homes. I'm sure they'll take yours. Now, where do you post your house for sale? Okay? Every single online platform that you're gonna post it on is leveraging your house to generate leads. That's how these companies make money. They're going to put your house in front of other people in hopes that they will call in, and then they're going to port them over to a real estate agent. Because at the end of the day, all of these online platforms that you're posting on are going to send you real estate agents asking you to pay a buyer's agent's commission, and 95% of the time, they're going to ask you for 3%. Maybe 5% will get desperate and say, oh yeah, I'll negotiate. But really, me, not negotiating with my income. I'm bringing you a fully qualified buyer and telling you, hey, I'm gonna take care of everything. I'm not gonna make you lift a finger. I'm gonna take care of your paperwork. I'm gonna take care of the buyer's paperwork. I'm gonna coordinate with the mortgage officer, the attorney, the inspector, the appraiser, everything. But okay, where do I post my home? Me personally, I really like Zillow. It's a very easy process to be able to get all the photos, the description, and everything uploaded in a timely manner. Now, sometimes it can glitch and photos don't pop up and all that kind of stuff, but that usually would be the #1 to go to. Also, I'll put down in the description other places where you as a for sale by owner can post those. And last but not least, you can purchase, I forgot what they're called. They're these brokerages that charge you like a $500 fee or like a $295 fee, depends on where you live, and they'll put it on the MLS for you. But again, all that does is it will put you on a couple extra real estate websites automatically, and secondly, it just goes out to more real estate agents. Sure, the old way of real estate agents showing clients homes was an automated email of, oh, a 3-bed, 2.5 bath house listed at this price, and they get an email sent, okay? It's not really worth spending money on, and if you're gonna spend that kind of money, you might as well spend it in a commission and make more money at the end of the day anyway. Next, you have the photos. It's beautiful, you have the description, people are calling you. You have to understand, every phone call that you get, I know we live in a world where I get like 20 spam calls a day. You have to pick it up. People are going to be asking you to come and see your property. And if you work full time, you're gonna miss out on so many different opportunities for these buyers to come see your house. And if they won't see your house right when they ask, they're going to be looking at other houses, giving them the opportunity to fall in love with something else, which should be your #1 goal, to not let them do that. So if you get a phone call, you have to figure out a way to answer it. Have your phone on at all times. Text messages, calls, emails need to be responded to promptly. And also you need to be able to schedule showings that accommodate the buyer's life. If they work full time or they work night shift or they have a couple days off during the week and they work weekends, you gotta accommodate. But let's say you have a showing scheduled. You're super excited, you can't wait. Let's talk about safety, okay? Because the world that we live in is not a safe place. If you've lived in a bubble your whole life, I did special operations in the military, I have multiple combat deployments, and I was a police officer here in Middle Georgia. I'm here to tell you, not everybody looking for a home is looking for a home. You need to make sure that you're safe. Never be at the house by yourself, okay? Step #1. Step #2, make sure that they know that you will not be by yourself at the house. #3, do not put your back to a place that's not an exit. For example, this room, my bedroom door right over here, or this office door is right here. I myself would not walk into the door first, letting them block the exit. At all times, you need to have an escape route. Do they have a gun in their waistband? Do they have a knife in their waistband? What are their intentions? Are they truly looking for a house, or are other things could possibly go wrong? And also, please, text somebody and say, hey, I have somebody coming over for a showing. If I don't call you back in 15 minutes, call me. If I don't answer, call the police. You can never be too safe when random people on the internet are calling you to come over to a house that could be vacant by themselves. There's 100 horror stories out there about agents opening up the door for somebody, and that somebody locks the door behind them. You have to have an escape route, and you have to pre-plan for these showings. But again, I have to bring this point up. If you have showings, they have to have a pre-approval letter. So during the process of the paperwork, reach out to a couple of lenders, build some relationships, and make sure that if the buyer comes without a lender, you have a contact phone number of a lender that you know that will respond promptly and get them pre-approved. Some lenders can get them pre-approved within the same day. So if you can build a relationship with somebody that's gonna pick up their phone right away and get them pre-approved, you can get them in the house faster and hopefully get your house under contract. In talking about tours real quick, be an amazing tour guide, okay? And what this means is rapport. As soon as they come over, don't talk about the house. Talk about them. Figure out the things that they like. Maybe they showed up in a specific kind of car that you have knowledge about. Maybe there's a bumper sticker on there. Maybe there's a veteran's license plate and you're a veteran. Build some rapport. Get them to smile. Get them excited. Get to know who they are. And then tour the house. And make sure you highlight the best things. And during the rapport building, ask if they have kids, animals, their favorite hobbies, things to do, and then sell them on that stuff. If somebody comes over to your house and you find out that they absolutely love fishing and you have an extended pad on the side of your garage that would be perfect place for a fishing boat, sell the fact that they could have a fishing boat and this could be the home that they need in order to make that hobby a reality. The next, and I think the most important thing you can possibly do is follow up. Good follow up. If somebody comes over to your house, you need to text them, you need to call them, and you need to know where they're at in the process. Sell them on your property and don't let them go. Sometimes it takes 8, 12, 15 contacts before you're gonna get somebody to be able to commit to your property because they most likely are looking at others and you need to show them reasons why your house is the obvious choice and the best choice for them and their family. Next is the purchase and sale agreement. Make sure that the documents are in order and everything is filled out to standard, and get in contact with your attorney because you are going to be in charge of everything. And also on the purchase and sale agreement is going to be a selection called Earnest Money. The Earnest Money is during the due diligence period, which usually is 5 to 7 days typically here in the state of Georgia, and it's the buyer's time to do their due diligence on the property. Most likely, especially if they're working with a real estate agent, what's going to happen is they're going to order a home inspection. Now, that home inspection is going to go out. They're going to come to your property, evaluate things like plumbing, electrical, cosmetic damages. They're going to go in the attic if you have a crawl space. They're going to turn the washer and dryer on. They're going to turn the dishwasher on, check the heating. If it's heating, check the cooling. If it's cooling properly, water temps, everything from start to finish. And what's going to happen if you have a pre-owned home, things are going to pop up on the report. Even a new construction is going to have items that pop up on the report. And you need to make sure that you have all the documentation ready to go. So when they request things, you can counter. And the thing is, in the due diligence period, they're gonna give you what's called earnest money. It's their goodwill saying, hey, I'm serious about this property. And if my due diligence period ends and we waste your time on the market, right? Because you took your house off the market, they're willing to give you that money. Typically, I ask for 1%. So if you have a $300,000 house, $3,000 for earnest money, and you are gonna be in charge of it. However, personally, I don't like that kind of responsibility, okay? And as a real estate agent, I'm not legally allowed to hold earnest money. And my recommendation to you would be to have the document, I forgot to add this in the beginning, is attorney is the holder of the earnest money, and you give that money to the attorney, and if something happens during the deal and the buyer backs out, that attorney is going to decide where the earnest money goes to mutual third party, right? So You don't have to worry about it. And real quick, I could walk you through the entire process of document from document all the way through the closing table. What's gonna happen is an inspection's gonna happen, the mortgage lender's gonna order the appraisal. If the appraisal comes back, what happens, blah, 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 blah. On my YouTube channel, click playlist, click seller series. I have an 11-part seller series that I think is over an hour long, and it goes in deep, deep detail of negotiation, what different types of loans there are, what to happen when you get an offer, how to decipher offers, how to decide whether to go with the FHA loan versus VA versus cash. It's all there. Go there, watch that. I want to keep this one short, but if you need more information, it's how I properly advise my clients with my expert advice during that process. Go and watch it, pretend to be me, steal it, rip it off, duplicate, and get your house sold.
Few moments later.
Okay, you're back. You just watched the seller series and are super confident on all the details. You got through the under contract period and you're going to the closing table. Super excited, right? All you got to do is bring your documentation with you. And now, and what I mean by documentation is your ID. You can't sell a property if you're not the homeowner. They're gonna get your ID and the attorney's gonna ask you for a couple other things via email. Maybe it's different documents that needed to be signed and all that kind of stuff. It's in the seller series. Not gonna have to speak too much on it. But you show up and you get your house closed and you get a check into your bank account. And last but not least, you wanna make sure that you show up to the closing table with relevant information that the homeowner's gonna need. The process of buying a house, especially by themselves if they didn't use a realtor, is going to be massive amounts of stress. So they might forget to ask, hey, who's your utility companies? Who do you use for internet, water, all that good stuff. Make sure you have a printout of who you currently use so they can easily transfer it into their name. For example, here in, let's say, the city of Perry, because we had a closing this morning, what happens if they shut the water off? It's a $150 reinstatement fee. Don't do that to them. Keep the water on. All they got to do is call, get it transferred in their name. So make sure you have those documents readily available. But hey, that's the video. I hope I was able to provide you some value. If you have any questions, just text me at 478-888-7808. I'd love to be able to help serve you and your family. I understand fully you're just trying to save some money on commissions. 6% in the real estate market, it's a lot of money. But at the end of the day, I'm here to serve you. If you want to sell your house on your own, that's your right. But again, if you have any questions and you just need a little bit of help, say you're under contract and you have a question, just send me a text message and I'd love to be able to help.